Hey everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. I'm here after seeing Alien Romulus, the latest in the long-running, maybe too long-running Alien series, the Ridley Scott films. And before I go too far, I do want to please ask you if you could subscribe and like and do all that stuff. I know it feels really weird to say that, but it does make a difference, and I appreciate that. As far as this movie goes, this is directed by Fede Alvarez, and produced by Ridley Scott. I would say that I have not been a huge fan of the Alien movies for a very long time. 1 and 2, Alien and Aliens, 77, I believe it was 86, Aliens came out. Two of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. And I think here's the problem. It's just like with the Terminator movies, or even like Ghostbusters. When you've got the first two movies are so good, not that the second Ghostbusters is good, but when the originals are so good, how do you top that? How do you continue the story realistically, and not just repeat what's already been done? How do you add to the overall world and build the characters in the story? And I'm not sure that this actually does it. It is set, I think it's 20 years after the events of the Nostradamus in the 1977 film. And the idea is that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation has all these mining outposts, as we know, and things have started to kind of fall apart as people are getting sick. And they are also out there. Of course, they went and found the Nostradamus and found the xenomorph, because yes, they just always do. Like in this vast universe where we've gone hundreds and hundreds of years and thousands of years of not finding these alien species and the xenomorphs. Now all of a sudden we find them all the time. I don't know. Anyway, what happens is they bring it on a space station, and guess what? Shit goes wrong. What a surprise, right? But then we fast forward, and we meet this girl, Rain, played by someone who I do not remember, I'm sorry, and her brother, Andy, and they're trying to get off this mining colony to go to a non-Weyland-Yutani system. It's not fully explained, but they get caught. And then there's a ragtag group of individuals that they know that also somehow have a spaceship that can get to this other solar system. However, in order to get there, they have to go to this derelict space station that is the Romulus, boom, Alien Romulus, and steal the cryopods, which is going to allow them to get there. But then, of course, they get there, and the alien's there, and everything has gone wrong. And this is sort of, I don't know. I think it's potentially divisive. I really liked Aliens 4, which I believe was Alien Resurrection. May have been like 96, somewhere about that it came out. Directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. And it was a film that didn't do very well at the time. I made some money, but is not regarded as one of the better films. I think that visually, I love Jeunet's style. I love City of Lost Children. I love the films that he has done. They are some of my all-time favorites. I love his crew. I thought the way that film looked, the visuals, the idea that there's this ragtag group that's coming onto the space station or the ship, and they need to kind of, things go wrong. They need to get from one end to the other, which is exactly what is happening in this movie. Also, the game Alien Isolation, this has been compared to it a lot, and absolutely very, very similar. Where that movie fell apart was, for me, the Aliens movies follow a very strict, maybe cliche formula, right? You start out and you're in space, and then the ship is coming toward you, and then it gets illuminated. And there were some really cool things. It's sort of like when the Star Wars crawl comes up. Like, if you are a fan of this franchise, you'll get the feelings. You'll yeah, okay, this is what I wanted. This is what I'm looking for. And it does hit all those beats. But that's the thing, is like with Alien Resurrection, I really enjoyed it up until the end of the movie with the giant fucking sperm alien, which was just stupid. And unfortunately, that's kind of what happens with this. So Rain has to go with her friends, but they're not really their friends, and they're all actually kind of assholes. It's like going into a horror movie where they're all horrible people, and you don't want Jason to just go chop up a bunch of teenagers, but then you're also kind of like, well, they're dicks, so this will be fun at least. And most of this crew, they're kind of dicks, except for some of them who really just have no real personality except to set up the end credits. And that's kind of like Romulus. I hated the freaking movie. I hated Romulus. Hated it so much. But that's the thing is, like, some of that crew was really just there to further plot points later on and to hit those story beats. Because, surprise, it goes through the whole thing of like, oh, they're on. Wait, something seems wrong. Oh, yeah, something's wrong. Oh, look, there's a facehugger. What's a facehugger? Oh, well, we'll stop and we'll explain everything. There's going to be some exposition, and maybe these kids are smart enough to figure out how to overcome it. Oh, no, they're not. We're going to do the whole thing all over again, and someone's going to get infected. And it's the same movie over and over again, except, like I said, with the sperm alien at the end of Resurrection, I think that the alien at the end of this, spoiler alert, there's a final girl in her underwear on another ship because they've escaped from the Romulus, even though all this shit went wrong. They've escaped, and now she has to fight the final alien, but she doesn't really fight them because you can't fight them because they're too powerful, so, like, you have to shoot them off into space because that's what we do, right? That's the best we could come up with. Basically the same thing we've done in 4 other movies or 5 other movies, except for, I guess, 3 where there's a whole Jesus Christ thing where she falls back into the lava or the fire or whatever the hell it is. So that's basically what they do, except this alien looks like it's a cross between, like, the Babadook and a giant penis or something. It is stupid looking. It is absolutely horrible. It makes zero sense that this thing has... Oh my gosh, there's so much going on that they don't really explain. But the thing is, there were parts where I was actually really into this movie. It was gory. I think the acid blood of the aliens is probably my least favorite part. They did some interesting things with it, but in the end, it was just kind of a cliche, like, oh, we're going to shoot them, and then the blood is going to, like, burn its way all the way through the space station, and guess what? Now there's dozens of aliens. Or Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm giving stuff away, but, like, you will know exactly what is going to happen because it happens in every freaking Aliens movie. And I was really excited because it was gory, and I kind of cared about the main characters. Rain and Andy I thought were really cool. There's this really good dialogue. Is Andy a real person? It was more than Bishop and just getting torn apart and just like, I'm a real boy. Like, Andy had a real character and personality. And that all kind of fell apart and fell off. That last act of the movie, I think, completely lets down what could have been maybe not, world changing or game changing or whatever. It could have been interesting and exploratory and really freaking cool because I was loving this movie up until then. I was really, really excited. They do dive really deep into the Giger, motif of reproductive organs. There was an 8-year, it was maybe 8 years old, this kid in this film, watching the movie. And I don't know, far be it for me to judge anyone, but this is not a movie for 8-year-olds, I would not say. I think there's definitely some gore in this. It's not excessive, but the sexual motifs and stuff are not subtle in any capacity. And it is a little scary, like, especially at the beginning of this film and through the first 2 sections of it, it's pretty tense, and they do a good job. Again, it just falls apart at the end. So, I don't know, see it, stream it, or skip it. I think if you're a fan of the franchise, go see this. I think you need to see it in the theater. I think that is important. I think that the sound, and I wish I had seen it in, like, an IMAX or an RPX and seen the film, in that style. There are some scenes where there's zero gravity. Actually, makes me want to play Starfield again. But zero gravity, and they're kind of floating around as they're trying to steal things from the ship and all that. That's all kind of cool. And that makes it a cinematic experience. But if you're hit or miss on any of these Aliens films, this is not the one that's going to reinvent the franchise or reinvigorate the franchise. It's just another kids or people or whatever get onto a ship. The aliens eat most of them until the last one does the same exact thing that every other Sigourney Weaver has done in every other movie of the franchise. So that's where we are. I'm going to cut it because I don't really have much else to say. See it in the theaters if you like the franchise. Otherwise, I don't know that it's really worth it. So thank you. I will see you all after the next movie. I do appreciate it. And again, if you could hit those buttons down there for me, I appreciate it. I'll see you.